Hi there. A disclaimer, this is not a homophobic video. Also, if you're under the ages of 18, please switch off. Anywho, this video is part of my playlist titled Discussing Historical Topics, and today's topic I'm discussing or proposing the question, was Hitler gay? So straight off the bat I'm going to say no, he was not gay. And most modern historians, in-depth historians of Hitler, would suggest now that he was what you call asexual, which means that you don't really have a sexuality. I do believe he was asexual, but I do believe that he had heterosexual tendencies. He did have a leaning towards women. For example, he did get married to Eva Braun, and he was in a relationship with Eva Braun since 1932. Before that, he had some sort of relationship with his half-niece, Gelly Rabel, and throughout the 1920s there was rumours of flings with high society German women, actresses, and probably, I don't know, I don't have the facts, nobody really does, but probably did frequent prostitutes when he was living in Linz, especially Vienna and Munich. You got to remember, most men did frequent prostitutes back in those days, and I think some men still do, but that's another story. So he was not gay, he was asexual with heterosexual tendencies. I think when he did pursue a sexual relationship with a woman, it was probably vanity and flattery that, piqued his curiosity. Hitler always used to say that Germany is my mistress, and I quite believe that, because he did channel all his energies into, the Third Reich and conquering Europe, But what you've got to remember, that there was no smoking gun in the German press in the late 1920s and 30s. German press, German media, German politics was poisonous. So there was never any stories about some gay romance or gay fling. And, there was never any cases of womanising. There was never any evidence or testimony during the Third Reich or after the Third Reich of how SS guards or party members or members of the SA used to sneak men or women into Hitler's chambers at the Reich Chancellery or the Berghof or his apartment in Munich. If that was true, those stories would have came out in the media, in the press at the time, and they would have been revealed in autobiographies and memoirs and diaries that were published post-war. There is no evidence to suggest that Hitler was either gay or a womanizer. Now, where did the whole gay thing come from? The gay thing came post-war, especially in the 60s and 70s, when you had historians with some basic understanding of psychology, trying to apply psychology to Hitler, but in the context of a fact-based book about the man, whether it be a biography or simply discussing Nazism, Hitlerism, or the Second World War. And this is the sad thing about these historians back in the 20th century, because they were using the homosexuality as a character assassination, an attempt to further besmirch. Now, what you've got to remember is that back in the 20th century, it was still a taboo to be a homosexual. It's still a taboo to be a homosexual in still many parts of the world today. But 20th century historians wrongfully used homosexuality to besmirch Hitler, to character assassinate the guy, as if, this is Hitler, a Nazi, he did a lot of bad things, and if you think that is bad, he was also gay. That was what they were pushing at, that, he wasn't just a Nazi, he was gay, ridiculous. There's nothing wrong with being gay, and I don't think that Hitler's sexuality had any impact on or any sway over the man's achievements and successes, and also his failures and crimes. The language that was used by certain historians, I'm not going to mention them because, what have I done here? excuse me, sorry about that. I'm not going to mention them because I don't want to be sued for libel or slander or anything like that. But there was words used, basic terminologies such as a latent homosexuality, overt homosexual tendencies, introvert homosexual tendencies, as if these historians actually knew what they were talking about, you know. But as I said, it was an attempt to besmirch the guy. If you read in some of the books about Hitler and watch some of the old documentaries from the 20th century, there was always that innuendo there, and the way that it was the author or the narrator of the documentary, it was always as if being gay was bad. You know, Hitler wasn't just a bad man, he was also gay, shock, horror, what he was doubly evil, you know. Bloody ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So that was my point. That's where these rumours probably came about. Silly historians with a basic understanding of psychology, or, well, a shoddy understanding of psychology, trying to apply it to historical discussion in order to further besmirch Adolf Hitler. He didn't need further besmirching. He was a criminal. He did a lot of bad things, he ordered a lot of bad things, but he also made a lot of successes and achievements, but that's other stories for another day. So, was Hitler gay? No. There is no evidence to suggest that he was gay, and if there was, it would have been revealed by now. Was Hitler heterosexual? Yes, but a small h, with a small h, you know. Was it asexual? I would say with a capital. You know, some weird asexual heterosexuality the man had. And even today, historians and psychologists are still a bit, well, they don't really know. Hitler was an enigma. His sexuality was an enigma. But hey, some people just aren't that interested in sex. Some people do understand that, well, he understood that he didn't really have time for women, and his relationship with Eva Braun was very frustrating, especially on her part. She loved the man, she wanted to have sex with the man, but he was probably not that much interested because, as I said, he was running the Third Reich and trying to conquer the world. But hey ho. Just food for thought, folks. As I said, this playlist is discussing historical topics, and that's my topic for this evening. Thank you. Good evening.